You want to know how I got introduced to OneShot?
Any talents or tricks up your sleeves? It's dangerous out there.
I could talk to God. They tend to take a while.
When I decided to play this game, I did not know what I was getting myself into. This was just a little guy who was holding a light bulb. That's it. And even when I was watching Indie Cross, it's not like he was fighting, he was just staying in the background. So what was his deal? What's his game? Is his game good? I had so many questions because he was very interesting. And now have playing the game, hence this video. My answer to that is OneShot is the definition of the friends you make along the way. Hello, my name is Moon, and I really just like talking about games. And the game that I'm going to talk about, welcome people to OneShot. If you haven't caught on to the context clues of this video, there's going to be spoilers ahead, major spoilers in fact. So if you haven't played OneShot and you really want to play OneShot, you should play OneShot. And I have to stress that I might not be able to talk about everything. And now we got those two little things out of the way. Let's get started. OneShot is what I like to call an experience game. You play it once and you never play it again. Once you know what happened, it cannot be unseen because it's in the title, come on. Even the game tells you have one shot. The whole story of OneShot is not long. This game is about an 8-hour game. OneShot is a very simple story. Your objective is to get Nico home. No ifs, ands, or buts. Well, maybe a major but. Nico carries this really ridiculously large light bulb, which is the sun of this world. We start off in a land called the Barrens, which is well barren, and I kept saying lube. Am I getting my lube?
End up now and face the sun. Won't hide my tail or turn and
I hope this wet sponge. Oh my god, I got my lubricant. I'm so ready to rub it. Pause! We find out that this world is dying to these squares because the sun is gone, and we have to take the sun that we have to a place called the Tower. Remember when I said this game is the friends you make along the way? During your adventure, you meet a whole bunch of people and robots that they're saying they're not tamed. There are 2 more areas that we go through, which is called the Glen and the Refuge. Again, this story is very simple, but as you go through these areas, the Barrens, Refuge, the Glen, as simple and desolate as they are, the people in this game make up for it. Because a lot of people have different standings on if the sun will return or not. Some are hopeful, and some don't even think the sun will solve their issues. This is the type of game where you have to talk to most people and talk to them multiple times to finish their storylines, which I believe was made to make you care about them, so you have an incentive to put back the sun, especially in the Glen, because I love Alula and Clamalis. I think that's how you say his name. Nico's interaction with everyone is so good, and I love it when he acts like a kid, because everyone calls him the Messiah, the chosen one, a prophecy, yada 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 yada, that he has to put back the sun and that they're grateful. But when they give you childlike moments for Nico, it's so adorable and I love it. But the biggest interaction for Nico's character is us, the player. Yeah, Nico is actually his own person, like his own character, and my favorite part of this game is us interacting with him and having conversations. Honestly, probably one of the best parts of this game. And a problem I had with this game. I genuinely like the characters of this game and I love the people that we interact, but I care about Nico. Nico is my only priority in this game. Seeing Nico hurt or him struggling made me want him to get home. Aside from the bright moments in this game, this dude gets very homesick, and there's these dream sequences that we get to see Nico's home world, what was life like for him. And then you have conversations about him talking about his mom and his love for his mom's pancakes. Like, you really feel for Nico more than you care for the characters that he interacts with. Because at the end of the day, it's just you and Nico. And by the way, this game makes you feel very guilty. So if you turn off the game and you leave for a couple of hours and you get back on it, Nico asks where we went. Like, he starts questioning, and a couple of times more, he just accepts the darkness. And in the original game, if you close or X out OneShot, he just dies. Thankfully, that's not the case for this game, but oh my god, how dark! Eventually, you get to the tower and you help Nico make a choice. Either break the sun so he can go back home, or put back the sun and help this dying world, not knowing what would happen to Nico after the fact. You really feel the weight of this decision, because look at Nico. He is so concerned because he wants to go back home, but at the same time, he doesn't want everybody that he just met die, because he's just a nice guy like that. He even asks you, the player, what's the right thing to do? Against my better judgment, I chose this world because I thought it was a good ending to this game. The whole story of OneShot felt so unsatisfying, unfulfilled. Even when I placed the sun back, I was just sitting there like, something's missing. It doesn't feel right to me. Like, you see everyone that you met and, you know, they're a little happy. But overall, I was unsatisfied. The only good thing that I found with this ending was baby Maize. Look at her, she's so adorable. Oh my god, I just want to pinch her cheek. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely not a bad story here, but it didn't hit me in the right places. And that's what I would say if this game didn't have New Game Plus, which is called the Solstice Run. To catch everyone up to speed, because I know I didn't explain it, us, the player, uses this computer called the World Machine, and we help Nico progress through some puzzles with our fake computer. You can actually use your real computer if you don't have the World Machine edition, but I have the World Machine edition, so I'm using the endgame computer. But I thought that was a cool thing you could do. Nico got this book called The Strange Journal that didn't get used until the very end of the game. And lastly, this thing called the Entity that likes to call me dumb and stupid and really wants to send Nico home. And the creator, or the author, I don't know, one of those two, which has to do something with the Strange Journal. Alright, now everybody is caught up with some details that I left out. Let's talk about the Solstice Run. I won't lie, the way that I got the Solstice Run was looking at the internet, because I didn't know there was a New Game Plus for OneShot. But the way you actually get it is you read this note from the author himself saying like, I don't actually remember, but it shows a password and each letter is bolded, so there's SO, which spells out solstice, and that's what you're supposed to use on the computer. Once you play the game for a bit, you go back to the mines and your book starts to glow with phosphor. Nico and the Entity know something is off with this world because of us going to the mines, and we finally get to explore areas that weren't available to us in the base game. The Entity tries to warn us that if we keep pressing on into the mines, everything's going to be pee-pee butthole. And as we go through the game like we did before, more squares destroy the world. People that we have met previously in our adventure start just dying, and Nico has some distrust with us. Nico basically wonders why we brought him back. It's a lot like Chris, but Nico, please don't pull a Chris on me. But seriously, man, does this, oh my god, dude, this story gets so dark so quickly. For example, right, when we meet this character named Cedric, we get on his airplane and we promise that we would go back to save Alula and Clamalis, but the squares destroy his airplane basically saying we left them to die because they couldn't go back to the Glen because of the squares. In our adventure, we meet 3 people that are not a part of this world: the prototype, Cedric, and Rue. Side note, I love the difference with Rue in the base game saying we have to find a way, or she says finds a way, indicating the Solstice run, which I love that detail very much, because it's just a silhouette and we really don't talk to Rue until obviously in the Solstice run. And with meeting up with Rue in the refuge, we finally get an explanation on what tame is, because throughout the whole game, throughout your whole 4, 5, 6 hours of the game, you see robots that are say tame. I think Silver, this android, says that she's tamed. Like tame gets thrown around a lot. I think I mentioned this before. And in a very basic sense, and I love that this anime exists. If you ever watch Gachi Akuta, right? It's basically vital instruments. Robots are vital instruments. You basically have to treat the robot with a lot of love and a lot of care, like they're an actual person. Doesn't matter if they still act like a robot, you have to feel it, you know, you have to feel that they're a real person. And eventually that robot will gain consciousness. It will take a very, very long time, but it will gain consciousness and will go beyond its code.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
At this part of our adventure, a lot of people die. And you feel like poo-poo butthole because of it. And Nico has a very, I don't want to say small, but he has distrust in you until, you know, you guys squash the beef later. After all hope is lost, we see Cedric and Proto come back and everyone standing in their respective spots. And this, oh my god, I love this part of OneShot. You have to go into their character files and move them to their big portal file, and eventually they disappear so you can get access to the author's room. We get access to the author's room and eventually confront the world machine. And I love the conversation between Nico and the world machine. I love it so much. The world machine is just scared, especially when things are happening in the Solstice run that shouldn't be happening. It's too much for the world machine to handle, and it basically wants to give up. Nico tells the world machine that it wants to save this world, and we tell the world machine that they are tamed. Disagreeing with us, we tell them then why did everyone try to save us and why did everyone try to lead us to the world machine. The world machine is frightened, panicked, and scared, and everyone in this world that occupies the world machine has a little something real in them, a little humanity, if you will. At this point, we tell the world machine to recreate the original ending. Because yes, the ending in the base game, we are supposed to put the sun back in the tower, and then Nico was supposed to go home after that. The choice that we get, breaking the sun, was just a workaround, a failsafe, if you will, just for the entity now known as the world machine, as a way to let Nico go back home. Which obviously didn't work because I put him back into this world. The world machine agrees and gives Nico back the sun and tries to recreate the original ending. The world machine recreates the original ending and finally accepts that they're tame. We go to the credits room to see everyone that had just died come back to life. We go back to the tower, but this time with a clear choice and not a heavy burden. We put the sun back, and after seeing the people experiencing the sun and their happy lives, we go back to the room where it all started. Nico sees his home at a distance and says a final goodbye to us, the player. Then, Nico goes home. And that's the story of OneShot. If you try to replay the game of OneShot, the world machine actually talks to you and says that Nico is home. You cannot see him ever again. Which is honestly nice confirmation that Nico actually gets to go home. But the world machine says that we can always play OneShot again, but through the world machine's memories. Unless we really want to be mean and put this boy back through a lot of struggle. When I said the complaints for the base game is exactly what I asked for the Solstice run. It's perfect. It's more fulfilling. I don't know what to say other than that. Everyone gets a happy ending. There's more stakes involved. Maybe this is just me, but the base game for OneShot actually feels like you're playing through a story, and the Solstice run is a different feeling entirely. I hope y'all can relate to me in the comments below. I don't know how else to describe it. Regardless, both stories are really good. The base game was missing something, and that's what the Solstice run is. And I love the Solstice run. I can't express that enough. And I love Nico as a protagonist. This game does a great job separating him and us as the player. It really feels like he's his own person that we have to help. And again, I mentioned this before, but I love his childlike moments. Even like his pain and struggle and his homesickness, you really feel for Nico. If we had to compare like Chris from Deltarune, yes, they are their own character. And at the time of this video, chapter 4 is released and chapter 5, 6, 7 is not existed yet. Even though Chris is their own person, it feels like we're a part of them, even if Chris hates us. Nico doesn't feel like that whatsoever. Nico is Nico and you are you, and that's what I love about this game. And the conversation between us and seeing Nico's dream sequences, you really feel for Nico, and Nico relies on you, and it's nice. It's symbiosis, if you will. And I love the characters in this game. Clomalis and Alula, Silver, Kib, the high school dropout. And every one of these characters is great. They don't really get the same character development as Nico does, but I love how Nico interacts with them. Silver feels like a big sister. Clomalis and Alula feel like those kids that you used to play around the park. Most of these characters get their time in the sun, and for what they gave us, I really like these characters. Not as much as Nico, but they're definitely great, definitely not bad. And the art with this game, not specifically with the characters, but the art that they give us, whether it's with characters or just Nico by himself, it's so breathtaking. And the art in the Solstice run, especially when Nico is alone and it just pans out, so good. So good. I wish they gave us more art like this, dude. Maybe with Silver, maybe seeing the prototype for the first time, possibly an art with Maize, but for what they gave us, breathtaking, beautiful. I love it so much. And if you want complicated gameplay, it is not here. The only thing that this boy does is craft like Minecraft and hold the sun. That is the only thing that this guy does. The only puzzles that I really remember were the sheep and this goddamn color code puzzle. I'm sorry guys, I honestly don't have any thoughts about the gameplay. It's a bunch of fetch quests and accessing your computer, which is admittedly the coolest part of this game. And when you have to interact with the world that Nico is in and the computer, it's great, especially towards the ending of the base game and some of the stuff in the Solstice run. Coolest parts of those games. But if you're asking me for something detailed, I really don't have anything for you, and those are my honest thoughts. For complaints, I really don't like this color code puzzle. I spent way too long on this, even like putting colors in my phone so I can get it right, because I believe it's randomized. So even if you have like 4 right colors, and if you get one wrong, that's it. You gotta restart the whole thing and it becomes different. The fetch quest for the magnet gave me a little trouble. The Solstice run, where I had to find this elevator with Rue, you know, now that I think about it, I think the refuge gave me the most trouble out of the whole 2 worlds. And I wish they did more with Maize. I mean, in the base game we got baby Maize, but like baby Maize doesn't really exist in the Solstice run, so she just dies, sacrificing herself so we can like traverse the Glen. And she doesn't show up in the end of the Solstice run, like when they show like the sun and all that. She doesn't show up there. No baby Maize, no nothing. Very nitpicky, I know, but Maise has such a cool design, and I rocked with her, I guess, half-dead character. When you're in the Solstice run, you can see your icons in your World Machine Edition like glitch out a little bit. I thought that was a really cool detail, indicating that the World Machine is not doing so hot. And throughout the game, whether it's the base game or the Solstice run, you as the player can click on these icons throughout the world where you can get backgrounds, character descriptions, and different colors for your PC. Again, I can't express how much I love the art, but the wallpapers I love with all my heart. They did such a good job. I love reflection, memories, where you actually get to see the author, which is really cool. Navigate, courtyard, and of course Maise. This art is just, it's so good. It's so good. Oh my god. And the last wallpaper, I just discovered this. No, legit, a minute ago, I just found this out, including how to find the Solstice password, because I kind of use Google for that. I won't lie. I did use Google, so I did not read the author's letter to us. But the author's letter to us, beautiful. I love it so much. The final wallpaper that we get from Nico, the drawing, I love it. I love every single wallpaper. But it's nice to know that this wallpaper is a gift from Nico to us, indicating that he does remember everybody, which is really cool because you find it in the documents. And as for music is really good. I like the music. The music is quite enjoyable. Nothing crazy, but for this game, it doesn't really need to be. It's emotional when it needs to be. It's mysterious when it needs to be. Everything that this music needs is what it should be. And that's OneShot, guys. I love this game so much. This game is near and dear to my heart. I didn't expect to like OneShot as much as I did. It's definitely on par with games like Deltarune and Amori in terms of storytelling. I love it. And it's only 8 hours. It's only like an 8-hour game if you're not going for a completionist run. So even if you listen to this video, and I greatly appreciate that you did it and you made it to the end, I highly suggest playing OneShot for yourself, because there's definitely stuff that I did not mention. So I highly recommend, and probably play the World Machine Edition so you can make your run a little simpler if you're playing on PC. So with that being said, if you like this solid content, just like, subscribe, and more, and that's all you gotta do. And if you want to join the Moon Discord server, the link's down in the description below. Mooners, return to base, return to base.